Hey everybody, welcome to the next video in our series on OpenBOM and change management. In this video, we'll be talking about the change request. I'd like to just kind of recap a little bit. In an earlier video, we spoke about revisions and how they apply to items and BOMs. We then took a review of how to enable change management. And today, we will be introducing the change request. So the change request is a wrapper around a revision. It's enabled by your company administrator, and the output of an approved change request is a revision. So we think about this as sort of a wrapper of approval that goes around a revision. And if it's approved, the revision is created, and if it's rejected, of course, it isn't. So we're going to take a little deeper dive into that. First, just as a quick review, your company administrator will need to turn on change management and also select a number of approvers. Here, I've got one person set as an approver. So we're also going to be working with our familiar wireless router demo set, and here I have a bill of material that uses this router base. This is the item that we've used in our earlier videos where we talked about revisions. You can see we worked that up to revision 3. And we're going to lead off in this video focusing on that particular item again. So if we take a look at this item's revisions, kind of as a recap here, we've created a few revisions A, B, and C in earlier videos. And by the way, this is a great time. I want to point out this little subtle blue box up here. I love this page. I can take a jump out to the list of revisions, and here I've got A, B, and C, and this is where I can get a quick view of everything that changed. Here you can see I've changed revision A and B. I changed the vendor. Looks like I did some cost changes. So this is a nice dashboard of each revision. So don't overlook that subtle little flyout right here. But anyway, back to change requests. So we're going to, now that we've turned on change management, we're going to take this router base up to revision D and see how that works with change requests turned on. So let's go ahead and make a change first. And I'm gonna go ahead and change this up to $1.55. We'll continue to focus on the same properties that we've been working on, and let's create a change request for that item. So we see a little different UI when we have change management turned on. There's a thing here called a change order. We're going to get to that in our next video. But for this particular change, we're going to go to Rev D, and we're going to say, create the change request. So what we notice, first of all, is that a revision was not created yet, but a change request was. So myself or any of my colleagues that are on my team that can approve change requests can approve this change right here, or we can take a little deeper dive into it, take a look, and we can see all the changes that were made in this particular change request. And here you can see that to this particular item, demo router base, I'm proposing that we go from 35 cents to $1.55. So I'm going to go ahead and approve that change request. And when we go back to the item on this, we're going to see that the item now has a Rev D right here, and it is, and this change request has been approved, and that there is a revision D now in the revision list. So we've just gone through what a change request means to an item. We change a cost, created a change request, and approved it. We saw that a revision was created. Here it is, Rev D. And if we took a closer look at this, we'd see that we're now at Rev D here. So now let's go back to the BOM that is using this router base and see what's going on there. So let's go back. We're going to report back up to this BOM. We take a look and see that this BOM is now using the Rev D. And we can see that the cost has changed, etc. So let's make what does it mean to have change management turned on for a bill of materials? We saw what it meant to an item. We created a change request. Exactly the same thing goes on now for bills of material. You'll see that your UI here has changed. Before we used to have save revision. We now have change request. I'm just going to now update this bill of material and save a new revision of it using the Rev D of the base. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take this. I think we're going to run this up to about Rev G right now in our change list. And there we go. Yeah, I can see that I have an earlier change request that was rejected for some reason, but here I've got my latest one right here is at Rev G, and I have the same thing. I can review that change. I can approve or reject. I'm just going to go ahead and approve that change right now, and we'll see that, yeah, the Rev G change request was in fact approved, and when we take a final look at the revisions list, we'll see that we have a Rev G is in the list. So to recap, our company administrator, OpenBOM company administrator, turned on change management. There's a video on how to set that up and configure it. We see that we now have some new UI. The change request is now in our kind of our wrapper for revisions. So both for bills of material and for individual items, we'll see that we now have a change request wrapper. And then finally, we saw how we can view the list of revisions here in a tabular form, which is handy as well. So stay tuned. In the next video, we'll deal with change orders, and we'll see that in change orders, we actually can batch together a group of change requests in more of an ECO and go ahead and approve that and make all those revisions. So I hope you found this helpful. We always like to hear from you at support@openbom.com. Thank you.